Hi everyone, this is Munira Premji, and as you can see, I am holding a copy of my book, Choosing Hope, One Woman, Three Cancers. I can't even begin to tell you what it's like to finally hold a copy of this book in my hands. It feels like holding a baby. It feels like holding my baby. This book represents so much for me. It is a story of my journey and my family's journey through 3 full-blown cancers. It is also the culmination of a lifelong dream and desire and aspiration to be an author. And here I am. It's surreal. An author. And not like a pretend author, but like a real live author. So why am I here? Well, this month I was scheduled to do a number of book events and book promotions and signings in Toronto and in Montreal. And then COVID-19 hit and all those events got cancelled. So here I am at home promoting the book virtually. So let me walk you through the book. As you can see, the cover of the book has a picture of me with henna on my head. This photo was taken a few years ago and has always been a captivating picture for me. I remember the day it was taken. I felt so alive and so vibrant and so sexy, even though cancer had ravaged my body. As you can see, the title of the book is Choosing Hope. And for me, choosing hope is about finding that glimmer of hope, that glimmer of good in the bad. It's about finding the pearl in the oyster. It's about not falling victim to circumstances. It's about having undeniable faith that lightness will emerge from the dark. And I think that that is what has kept me alive and has helped me survive through insurmountable odds. What makes this book different or unique is that it tells the story of my journey with cancer, and it does this from my perspective, but it also does it from the perspective of my family. You know, we don't do cancer alone. Our families are incredibly impacted. And in this book, you hear the voice of my husband, Naguib. You hear the voices of my children. Well, they're not children anymore, they're young adults, Shane and Sabrina, as they walked through this journey with me on a path that sometimes looked like it was never going to end. This book has 3 parts. Part 1 is when I was first diagnosed with stage 4 non-Hodgkin lymphoma. Part 2 is when I battled an incurable cancer, multiple myeloma. And part 3 is when I found a lump in my breast. Spoiler alert, I live to tell the story. You can pre-order the book on Amazon, on Indigo, and through the publisher of the book, Mowenzi House. Mowenzi House has a great promotion right now. If you pre-order the book from them in the month of April, and you can do that through mowenzi.com, Mowenzi will give you a 20% discount on the book, and as a bonus, they will send you the ebook for free so that you can start reading the book immediately. I know that many of you have pre-purchased this book from Indigo and Amazon. If that's the case, then just send Mowenzi House an email, and you can do this at marketing@mowenzihouse.com and show them proof of purchase, and they will send you an ebook for free while you wait for the delivery of your print version. I am so hoping you will buy the book. It is a bit nerve-wracking, thinking of people actually reading the book when it's taken me a good 3 years to give birth to the book. So I am feeling a little bit anxious, I'm feeling excited, I'm feeling nervous, and I'm mostly hopeful that you will absolutely love the book. And by the way, CBC has selected Choosing Hope as one of 40 works of Canadian non-fiction to watch for in spring of 2020. So how cool is that? I want to end by reading an excerpt from the book. The setting is the Toronto General Hospital in the emergency ward when I'm first told that I have cancer. How long do I have to live? The words were barely audible behind my tears. That's variable, said Dr. Wu. For someone who has lived a healthy, vibrant, exciting life, never been to hospital except to give birth, rarely even taken a Tylenol, this was unbearable. Naguib and I sat shell-shocked on the hospital bed. How do you deal with such a fateful diagnosis, a death sentence pronounced with such equanimity, when you have so much to offer to the world, so much more to experience and see, so much love to give, so many plans made as a family, as a couple? I thought of my husband, my mom, my son and daughter. How can you bear to listen to your love and partner of more than 30 years cry in his sleep? How do you deal with your son telling you that he is afraid you are going to die? How do you prepare to share this news with your daughter, who is halfway around the world? How do you tell your 82-year-old mom that you have advanced cancer and help her make sense of this news when you are doing the same? All I could think about in the moment was that I was going to die. My mind raced with an unending stream of questions. Whom should I call and tell about my cancer? Who would preside over my funeral? What arrangements could I make to lessen the stress on my family? Was my will in order? Was I up on my burial insurance? And then the irrational thoughts. Had I been a good daughter, partner, and mother? Should I leave letters for my children begging their forgiveness? A letter for my husband for all the arguments we had? My emotions were all over the place. I believed that I had 6 months to live and there was a lot to do. After the shock wore off a little, I got into planning mode. One of the first things I did while still in the hospital was to call a contractor and ask him to install hardwood floors at the entrance, in the kitchen, and in the family room of our home. As irrational as this seems, I figured that when I died, grieving guests would gather in the house and it should be presentable. Looking back, I think I was trying to take some control over my life because there was so much I had lost control of. When I returned home from the hospital, I continued to live at a frantic pace because I thought I was on borrowed time. I ordered and installed new curtains for the living room. Naguib and I went out on dates and treasured every minute. Friends and family started dropping by in the evenings and weekends with carrot cakes and flowers. Most of these get togethers ended with beautiful recitations of prayers. I continued to work every day except when I had to go for tests at the hospital. Cancer is probably one of the most dreaded words in the English language, a monster that cannot be named. We find it difficult to talk about, we have trouble hearing about it, and we are terrified by the thought of it. While I was grappling with myeloma, worse news was waiting in the wings. You know, it's a little bit difficult to recount that story, and although it was a few years ago, I think there are certain things that are just etched in your mind forever, and so I'm feeling a little bit emotional right now. Thank you, though, for taking the time to be part of this reading with me. Thank you for taking the time out of your precious day to watch this video. In the coming weeks, I'm hoping that we will continue to connect through interactive videos. In the meantime, please share your thoughts about the book, ask questions, talk about what brings you hope and what you are grateful for. And let's try and create a community of hope, particularly around this really difficult time. And if you haven't already, buy the book. From my house to yours, happy, joyful reading. And I look forward to connecting with you real soon. Mwah!